We are currently discussing Module 3 of C# and .NET Programming course. We have completed up to delegates and events. In this video, we are going to talk about exception handling. All of us know that when we write computer programs, the programs are prone to errors. When you take errors, there are two types of errors. One is called as compile time error, the other one is called as runtime error. When you take compile time errors, the errors such as missing a semicolon or unbalanced parenthesis, use of undeclared variable, incompatible types, or any bad references, etc. can be called as compile time errors. So, if you have any kind of syntax errors like this, these are all syntax errors available. If you have any of these syntax errors that can be identified by the compiler, those kind of errors are called as compile time errors, the errors which can be identified by a compiler. Whereas you have another type of errors which you call as runtime error. For example, divide by 0, a number you try to divide by 0, or when you refer an array index, it is out of bounds, or when you try to store to an incompatible class or type, or if the array size is negative, or if you try to refer using a null reference, or if you have any invalid string conversion. These are the kind of errors which cannot be identified by the compiler. These errors can be identified only when you execute a program. Say for example, if you have A divided by B, the statement is C is equal to A divided by B. You have a statement like C is equal to A divided by B. So when you see, there is no syntax error because C is a variable which can be assigned with the ratio of A and B using the slash operator, which is a division operator. So A by C is equal to A by B is a very valid statement. There is no error in that particular statement. But when you execute the program, if the B value is assigned with 0, obviously you cannot divide the value of A by 0. In that case, you will get an error. So this error can be identified only during the execution. So these kind of errors which are found during the execution or runtime of a program is called as runtime error. Now, if you are having a compile time error, no object code will be generated. But if there is no compile time error, an executable code will be generated which can be executed using an interpreter. Now what happens when you execute a program with some kind of runtime errors, your program gets terminated abruptly. If you don't want your program to get terminated abruptly, you should be able to handle those kind of runtime errors also. So in your program, you have to identify the places where a runtime error may occur. You have to write a code saying that if this runtime error happens, we have to follow these kind of statements. then your program will not get terminated abruptly. So to overcome the abrupt termination of a program during the execution, we go for handling the runtime errors. So handling this runtime errors is what you call as exception handling. So an exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. Now these exceptions will provide a way to transfer control from one part of the program to another part of the program when a runtime error occurs. So you can observe here, your program is not terminated during the runtime error. You transfer the control from one part of the program to another part of the program. Thereby your program gets executed, or the program continue its execution. So a C# exception can be called as a response to an exceptional circumstance that arises while a program is running, such as an attempt to divide by 0. This is the example we have seen in the runtime error. So the exception will give you a response to a exceptional circumstances that arises while a program is running, such as an, so what is the kind of error? Here the error example shown is divide by 0. Now when you take C#, it provides a structured solution to the exception handling in the form of try and catch blocks. We will be discussing what is try and catch block. So the try and catch block is similar to your C++ and Java programming. Now using these try and catch blocks, the core program statements are separated from the error handling statements. So wherever you see try and catch block, we can easily understand those portions of the program may arise some kind of runtime errors which are already handled in your program. That is what we have to identify. That is why we say it is giving you a structured solution for all the kind of runtime errors. So if you want to handle the error, if you want to handle a runtime error, what you have to do inside your program, first you need to find out the error, or you call it as problem. Then inform the program that this particular error has occurred. Once you have informed the program, you have to send or receive the error information. Once you receive the error information, you have to take a corrective action or measure to overcome that particular error. So these are the 4 things that we have to do in a runtime error handling, or you call it as exception handling. What are the things I have to do? You find out the problem in a particular program. Wherever the problem is occurring, you have to inform the program that there is a possibility of error occurring in this portion of the program. Then you receive that particular error information. Once you get the error information, you take the corrective action. So this is what is shown in the bracket, saying that when you find the problem, you call it as try to hit the error. When you inform an error has occurred, it is called as, in technical term, throwing the error. When you receive the error information, you call it as catch the error information. Take the corrective action is called as error handler, or you call it as handle the error. So these are the 4 things that we have to do to handle a runtime error. Now when you take exception handling, these are the 4 keywords we will be using in the exception handling concept. They are try, catch, finally and through. So all these keywords are, you are already familiar with, all these 4 keywords you are already familiar with your Java and C++ programming. First one is your try. A try is generally used to specify a try block. The try block will be identifying a block of code for which an exception is activated. it is followed by one or more catch blocks. So try is a block where you are expecting a runtime error. That block is called as a try block. You specify a block of code as a try block so that in this particular block an exception may raise. The second one is called as the catch keyword. Using the catch keyword, a program catches an exception here in the catch block to handle the error. So catch block is the one where you catch the exception info. That means you are going to catch the error information and you handle that error in that particular block. So the catch keyword indicates catching the exception, or you call it as catching the runtime error information. And the third one is finally. The finally block is used to execute a given set of statements whether an exception is thrown or not. You can observe here in the try block you find out the error. In the catch block you receive the error information and you handle that particular error. And in the finally block, whether an error occurs or not, whether an exception is thrown or not, this particular block will be executed. Suppose, say for example, you have opened a file or you have connected to a database. After connecting to the database, when you execute some set of queries, you find an error. If so, a runtime error happens. So in the catch block, you will be handling the error. Then even though there is an error or not, what you have to do, you have to close the database before you stop the program execution. So in the finally block, what you can do, you can have a statement for closing the database. Or if you are opening a file for your program, inside the try block you might have opened the program, you might have executed some set of statements or manipulated the file, etc. But even though there is an exception or not, what you have to do, you have to close the file before leaving the block or before leaving the program. So what you have to do, you can write a finally block. In the finally block, you can specify a statement for closing the file or closing the database connection. This is what you call as a finally block. Then the last keyword that is used is throw keyword. A program throws an exception when an error occurs. This is done using the throw keyword. Now this throw keyword is mainly used for user defined exceptions. This is mainly used for user defined exceptions. We will be seeing a demo program in which how this throw keyword is used for throwing an exception explicitly. Whereas the exception will be thrown automatically inside the try block. And if you want to explicitly throw the exception, you have to use the throw keyword. So these are some of the common C# exceptions available. Apart from that, you have lot more other exceptions also available. I have just picked some of them. For example, the exception called as IO exception. Whenever you have any input-output runtime errors, that will be called as input-output exception, IO exception. If you have array index out of range error, then it is called as index out of range exception error. If you have any type mismatch, then it is called as array type mismatch exception. And if you try to refer a null object, then it is called as null reference exception. If you try to divide a value by 0, then it is called as divide by 0 exception. And if you have any invalid typecasting, then it is called as invalid cast exception. And if there is insufficient memory in your program during the program execution, then you call it as out of memory exception. And if you have any stack overflow, then it is called as stack overflow exception. So in your try block, if you get any of these types, if you get any of these type runtime errors that can be caught in a catch block using these kind of exception objects. We will continue with the exception handling in the next video.